Chapter 13. Melanie's Struggles. A pang of frustration came over Melanie as she was awakened by the shrill complaints of her mother, Shiela. It hadn't even been a day since David left. Yet somehow, Shiela had already plunged the house into a state of chaos with her loud and dramatic monologues. The house echoed with Sheila's voice, her sharp words slapping the walls, depriving Melanie of the sleep she desperately needed. The thuds and thumps of furniture being kicked were easy enough to ignore, but the shattering cups and plates were a different story. Despite her efforts to tune out the noise, Melanie couldn't fall asleep. By afternoon, she had barely managed to snatch a few moments of rest, her mind and body drained of energy. Even so, the prospect of another night shift at Brook's convenience store was, ironically, a relief. Working at the store meant getting away from the turmoil at home, her mother's relentless tirades, and the emptiness that David's absence had left behind. The convenience store, with its pleasant customers and comforting home of refrigerators, was a sanctuary amidst the storm that her life had become. Melanie felt the sting of loneliness more acutely as she got ready for her shift. Now that David was gone, she couldn't look forward to his silly jokes or his unwavering support that gave her the strength to face another day under Sheila's reign. She didn't even have a phone to call or text him about how crazy things were at home without him. Pushing her exhaustion aside, Melanie trudged her way to the convenience store. As she got closer, the familiar sight of the store and its neon sign glowing in the gathering dusk brought a sense of comfort. The smell of coffee wafted through the air, a note of familiarity and relief. This was her haven. For the next several hours, she was free from her mother, free from the constant noise, the nagging, the unending chaos. Throughout her shift, Melanie found herself dwelling on her future. She was still young. Her life was just starting to take shape, but she felt trapped. Trapped by the shackles of Sheila's expectations, trapped in the outskirts of town with no opportunities, trapped with her own fears that whispered of a future echoing her present. She yearned for more, for a life where she could thrive. Maybe she should follow in David's footsteps, create a new life for herself, away from her mother. As the night wore on, Melanie toyed with the idea of taking on more shifts at the convenience store, of saving every penny to carve out a path towards freedom. Even if it took her months, the prospect of escape, of a life beyond Sheila's control, was enticing. She imagined what it might be like to live on her own, the things she might do. Before she knew it, the first light of dawn began to filter through the store's windows. Her body was running on fumes, but she was too distracted by her anticipation for the future to feel the exhaustion and loneliness that had weighed on her ever since her brother's departure. Melanie pushed through her shift, her spirit fueled by determination. When she eventually returned home in the early morning hours, the house was silent. Sheila's tantrums momentarily abated. Finally, she could get some rest. More than that, she could dream.